All right, welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. How we doing, Billy?
Doing good, doing good. Very excited to hear, as you just informed me, this is our 200th episode, our bicentennial episode.
Yeah, congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, I say we bring out the tall ships and really tear it up, buddy. What do you think?
Tear it up 1976 style.
That's right. Tall ships for everybody.
I know you talked about the tall ships. I never really recalled much of it. I'm going to put up a couple things just from the 76 bicentennial. Kind of a different look, though that style never goes out of style, I guess.
Look at me. This hair would fit right in.
Exactly. I looked a little like you back in the day. July 4th, here's another little celebration with the floats when Sears was still relevant. It's been a while.
You know, you could buy a whole house from Sears. They would ship it to you and you could assemble it.
Pretty incredible, huh? Build your house just like that. And I did have, here's a whole stream of stuff. There's your tall ships, which I, again, wasn't super familiar with.
Yeah, it was quite the big deal. It was like the center point of the whole celebration. I think they sailed, I can't remember if they were sailing down the Hudson or up the Hudson, but yeah, it was a big deal on the East Coast.
And then you can see at the pier, I mean, a lot of people out there. There's your big boats again, which again, I was pretty young, fairly young. I thought this was pretty iconic. Shirtless guys just not caring.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how different people looked then, just the body styles and the way we dressed, the way we looked.
Well, let's just look at the mix of people in this group. I mean, you have an Asian guy not being harassed and asked to leave, even by the white old lady who seems to be by herself. I mean, just a mix of all kinds of different people. I mean, that was kind of what the whole bicentennial thing was. I mean, even here you got you got your platform shoes with your pull-up socks, but you also have a longer skirt. Like nobody cared. It looks like the guy on the left smoking a joint, but I can't.
A doobie. It was just it was just a different world. It really was, because you didn't have as many millionaires, and back then being a millionaire was a big deal, and people weren't separating themselves. We still lived in a society, and along came the 80s and the Reagan era, and all of that started to change, and not for the better.
Who with the most toys wins, or whatever, was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I will say too, there was an interesting book back in the day, The Millionaire Next Door. And it was kind of, like I said, a big deal to hit that mark. It was quite an accomplishment. But the key to The Millionaire Next Door was that he drove a late model luxury car. He resold his shoes. He did a lot of things to conserve as well. He cut his own grass, which you couldn't do anymore because the houses are so big. But my point being, we've come a long way from us talking about Zuckerberg's $300 million yacht that is pulling behind it a $90 million yacht with a $30 million yacht that has the toys with it, and a staff that costs $90,000 to have. So different.
Yeah, so different. And it's sad. It really is. And just the way these people have separated themselves and the way they're continuing to separate themselves, as you were saying, by, buying their little islands and building their vaults. I mean, private homes and, their little bunkers and getaway spots.
Yeah, that was something we were going to talk about briefly, just because the Ivanka came out today talking about the Albanian island that her and Jared have a $1.4 billion project resort to build some luxury resort. It does have apparently Israel linked to this development. The Albanians weren't thrilled. The Albanian prime minister, who changed the law to make this sale possible, his house is currently on fire. The protests have been pretty massive because they're just not into it. And it's their it's their land. Not everything's for sale, but these people don't quite understand that. And as we talked about the other day, I mean, all these billionaires seem to have their private islands, their bunkers, their escape plans, as you just said. They don't seem to plan on hanging around to suffer the consequences of their policies.
Yeah.
It's concerning.
On their radar at all.
Yeah, it's all these places are in the Caribbean, so I don't know how they think that there's so much safety there. Now, the Albanian one was an island I believe the Nazis or the Russians used. It has a lot of different little areas throughout it, caves and such. There's speculation that would be a good place once they pay off officials to start the Epstein plan all over again. You could do have your own cave to do the things you do. She talks about being off the grid as far as power and things, but to me, it sounds more like getting off the grid away from law enforcement.
Yeah, that would not surprise me one bit.
I mean, they're pretty good like that in avoiding any kind of pushback for the nonsense that they've pulled. What else is new? The grift is always the plan with these guys. But I do kind of feel like, we are getting pushback to some of the Israel support. This war that Rubio today said with Iran is over. We control the strait. I don't believe that's fact.
I don't think it is.
Gas prices, you've got a pretty good deal on your gas at $3.99, but most Exxon VPs have come out and talked about how we're weeks away from having a real issue with this. We can take from our reserve all day, but only to a point, because then you got nothing, and I don't know what you do at that point.
I don't know. Yeah, we're going to go to tap into, and you're going to find a big fat IOU from Trump, which you know what that's worth.
As we can't find him, God only knows where he is. They said oil would probably be around 150 to 160 a barrel in the coming weeks. And then they talked about the strategic petroleum reserve, which there was an article that I saw from 2023, and they were saying what Biden was looking to take out of that reserve was really nothing, spit in the ocean, so to speak. But here we are, 10 days from having our reserve fall to the lowest level since August of 1983. Followed by levels not seen since the initial fill-up began in 1977. We're kind of doing it to ourselves by not pushing back against these policies. We're accepting of it. We don't know what's going on with Iran. We don't know 2 days ago that the Iranians bombed Kuwait U.S. installation. There were 6 casualties. Nobody wants to talk about it. Didn't happen. We get Dr. Oz up there. We get Bessent up there talking nonsense. Bessent talks about how they stole all this crypto money from the Iranians. They're going to go and look at their bank statements, and it's gone. That sounds criminal. And these are the people without KK Caroline. I hate to say it. At least we know where her lies are coming from. This group, it's just random and all over the place. I mean, Dr. Oz couldn't even speak to Trump and how many times he's had to go to Walter Reed and what his issues are with himself, referring to things 10 years ago. Meanwhile, he's still listed at 6'3", 238. He looks a lot like Metcalf, wide receiver for the Steelers. I mean, give me a break.
Oh, same build. It's amazing. I mean, if they stood next to each other, you couldn't tell the difference.
Except one was black and one was white, I guess.
Yeah. But, aside from that, Trump could suit up and start for any team right now.
His mom told me he could have been a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Parents say a lot of things to their kids. Not always true. I did want to talk about the bicentennial because I've had a lot of people mention that, hey, why can't we all get on board with this? Why can't we accept, like we did in 1976, which I vaguely remember, and come together as a country and how amazing this is and everything. The facts are that 10 years ago, under, I think you said under Obama, Congress established an America 250 Foundation. They were to plan events for this upcoming celebration. But once Trump became president, he fired them all.
Mhm.
So no need for that. He wanted more focus on MAGA and on MAGA's accomplishments. And that's where you started losing people, because this is supposed to be a celebration for all. This is about our nation. It's not about one political movement that's basically a blip on the screen in 200 years that nobody will even remember.
Well, yeah, and let's be clear that when Trump talks about MAGA, he's really talking about Trump because he believes he is MAGA. He's MAGA Jesus, according to him.
Good point. Very true. So he gave 80 million of our taxpayer money to funds and groups that he created and events that he supports. Again, to your point, all about Trump. He is holding back millions from the bipartisan 250 groups that were part of the original planning that started 10 years ago for this event. But again, now it's just the Trump show. And I think that's why you lost a lot of performers that didn't really sign up for that. And rightfully so. People were mad at the performers, but here's the facts. If you are hired under false pretenses, it's your right to say, that's not my bag.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Good for them. You can have your Kid Rock and your Vanilla Ice.
Well,
Trot those two out there.
They haven't announced Kid Rock yet, or maybe Kash Patel's girlfriend, because she has a new single out. It's hot.
I bet it's hot.
Super hot, about flags in America and how people used to do the right thing when other people weren't around. I mean, it almost made me throw up in my mouth a little bit, because they act like they're so righteous and that they're so good and taking care of others and care about the greater good. And they do none of that. She's jet setting on the FBI jet. She's getting FBI, security to drive her friends home. And
I know. Yeah. Her friends are living off the FBI teat as well. I mean, it's disgusting when you have people that are, like we talked about, deciding whether they want to pay for their prescriptions or buy groceries or put gas in their car so they can get to work. Yeah, it's pathetic. It's sick.
It doesn't register to them because they're better than all of us. I think
they're the greatest. They're more talented, and Jesus loves them more.
I did want to point out that the 1976 bicentennial performers, some of it was live, some of it was on TV, but you had Elvis, Peter Frampton, Aerosmith, Bob Hope, Walter Cronkite, Santana, The Who, Beach Boys, Moody Blues, Three Dog Nights, America, and the OJs. I mean, not to mention the U.S. Marine Band, the U.S. Army and Navy, Air Force bands, all the marching bands. Now we get Trump and Vanilla Ice and maybe Kid Rock. I don't know.
And don't forget the big UFC battle on the White House lawn.
$1.5 million for each VIP package. I don't know who's getting that money, but that's a lot. We already talked about the event should be filled with military service people that have the right height and weight and probably skin tone would be my guess. I don't know.
And yeah, you got to wear your short sleeve dress uniform. And oh, by the way, you've got to pay your own way there.
Find your own way. I did want to point out, like the Moody Blues, I'm pretty sure, and obviously the Who, they're not American bands. But I don't see anybody, chasing Pete Townsend away and telling him to get out, you foreigner.
Yeah, well, we were more of a global citizen back then. And, we were at a point where, I don't know that the economy was all that great, but, Vietnam was kind of behind us. Watergate was behind us. And we were able to come together as a nation and actually celebrate, a bicentennial. And it was a big deal, but those days are long gone.
Yeah, sadly, here we are. And I don't know how you change that. And I don't know how you go back. People think, oh, you're talking about the good old days and whatever. But it was more about tolerance, empathy, care, and bringing everybody up as the day grows. But we lost sight of that. And I was having this conversation with somebody just talking about our education system, which has kind of been gutted to the point where Missouri slashed funding for Dolly Parton's free book program.
That's pathetic.
It's right in the name. It's a free book program. But we're not funding that. It's part of the education budget reductions that Missouri's going through. They also, interestingly enough, cut the workforce diploma and urban teachings. I think the workforce diploma speaks for itself. You're getting hands-on. You're getting a piece of paper at the end showing that you're competent, but we don't need that. And as far as anything urban, can't be good. Am I right?
Yeah, that's not good. We don't need that.
So,
but this is such a backwards ass state. But the whole point is, we're going to dumb people down even further. We don't want an educated, thinking population. We want people that do what we say and don't ask questions and don't push back.
Because an educated thinking population would do some of the things that I'm in awe of, which is, Trump says China doesn't believe in wind and solar. Meanwhile, they're putting solar over waterways. They have this CPR device where it looks like a walker that an adult would have. You put it over the chest of the victim. It does it all for you. It's amazing. While we're, oiling up our paddles and whatever, they're so much more advanced than us as far as wind power, solar power. They have on the highway, one of the lanes literally charges your EV as you drive.
Oh, wow.
And we've seen the EV. Their vehicles over there are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason you can't buy them here.
Yeah, right.
So education and, this progressiveness goes kind of hand in hand, and we're not challenging ourselves. We're not pushing one another. We're not supporting one another to get to these possibilities. Now we're just like enamored by influencers that dress well and tell us what we should be, supplements we should be taking, or just this guy lying to us. Trump hates the environment. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how else he's doing some of the things he's doing without the distaste. Yesterday, he dismantled the $368 million deep ocean observation system because we're all about oil and gas. Like, who cares about the other stuff? We, drill, baby, drill.
That's right.
Part of it was to monitor coastal environments, which should matter to him at Mar-a-Lago. Marine ecosystems, powerful currents that affect the global climate. We would want to know this stuff. Maybe if you understood climate change and the oceans and how it changes ocean temperatures and affects fisheries, we could, cut off some of the trouble that's coming. But instead,
total hoax. Instead, Chinese hoax.
Yeah, exactly.
Fake news.
And that's what he said. It's a hoax. Meanwhile, the planet is warming. Europe right now, it's springtime, and they're seeing heat and deaths from it that they've never seen at this time of year before. I mean,
that's insane. Look at that.
Now, this says this is 2006, but this is summer. And the reason I put this up is because you can see the heat wave. And this is what we have not on July 20th, but on June 2nd. And it actually started about 2 weeks ago. So you're looking at May, where they started getting these kind of temperatures. And there's no real place to hide for them. Whoops. So we feel it's a hoax. We're not going to buy into it, but people are dying from heat. You get to a certain point where you just can't cool yourself down. It is a fact. But hey, here we are. Not only we drill, baby, drill, but we're going back into the Arctic Wildlife Refuge because maybe it's the largest undeveloped landscape in North America, but wah. Who cares?
Well, and this is coming from the guy that out of one side of his mouth says, we don't need the oil, we don't need it, but yet you're going to open up pristine wildlife preserve to more drilling. Which one is it?
And the fact is, when Biden left, we were drilling for more oil than ever before. We had so much oil at the time that these oil companies, it wasn't cost effective for them. They weren't buying these leases because they didn't make money off them. But if Trump can make a buck, he's going to do it. So here you are. We'll see how many of these leases get bought. I did want to point out that with this environmental crisis that we're having issues with, that hurricane season started yesterday. He's already cut 20% of FEMA, 50% of FEMA leadership is gone, and 60% of permanent regional admins have been cut. So it's not going to be in your backyard. but maybe even not even 2 states over. So there's no real help coming from FEMA. And we've seen that. This is just not his jam, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that right here where we live because, there's still people from the tornadoes of over a year ago still waiting for help.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it depends on where you live, I guess, is part of it. So I don't know, kind of a mess. The environment's near and dear to us and should be to everybody, but we just don't seem to understand that we're kind of being led by people that have no sense. Speaking of guys that have no sense, I wanted to bring up Bill Polt. He's the heir to the home construction company, and basically an all-around Trumper. Just loves Trump. So right now he is he's going to be named the director of national intelligence. He's taken Gabbard's spot. Let me put up a picture of him just so you can see a face to really want to punch. He's the head
Very
of
punchable face.
It's coming. Yeah. He's the head of Federal Housing Agency right now. He's going to keep that title because just like with Rubio, you can wear multiple hats and do a terrible job.
Oh, yeah.
He has no experience in national security or intelligence. That seems like a problem for this type of national intelligence position. But what he did do really well was he was a major GOP donor. He was appointed to FHFA by Trump, and then he used that authority to go after Trump rivals. Maybe you remember Lisa Cook, the Federal Reserve governor, that they went after about her primary dwelling. Oh, I think you listed the wrong house, and that's criminal. So he does what's asked, and that's how you get ahead in this administration, apparently, or regime. The bottom line is he's going to take intelligence and shape it around President Trump's wishes, regardless of the cost to you and I.
Man.
So that was a little bit shocking. I wasn't.
Excuse me.
Bless you. I wasn't a big fan of Gabbard either, but like she has a background in it, right? I mean, sort of.
Yeah. I mean, at least there was somebody that, knew their ass from a hole in the ground when it came to intelligence. But Jesus, this is just. But again, this is what he does, man. The person that pledges the most, that kisses the most ass, gets the positions. These are unserious people. Once again, unserious.
Yeah, and the shame is that they're all throughout our government, and they have one agenda, and that's for the guy that they're in a cult with, and that's a real problem. That leads me to New Mexico, which I thought was fairly positive. All about the Epstein ranch. I don't want to see that. The Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Trump. Let me just go back. Anyway, they've been working on this for quite a while, which to me is very positive. There's a lot of evidence that's sitting on this past Epstein property. And I think there's a lot that can be learned, good, bad, or ugly, which I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty ugly. But there's a legislative truth commission, and they're investigating Epstein and his activities in New Mexico. They announced on Monday that they are going to subpoena 14 different institutions, which would include 9/11 logs that come in showing a bunch of hangups from that property, recreational injuries that may have occurred there. And an interesting story came out that in 2019, there was a retired state policeman who reported to the FBI that there was a suspicious barn on this ranch. It was enclosed, and it was a suspected incinerator.
Wow.
I know we've talked about this a little bit, but there were also rumors of reported young girls and destruction of evidence. In 2019, Trump came in and decided to shut down that investigation because it seemed...
Wonder why.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, there was a donation from Epstein himself for $680,000 to the Santa Fe Institute. But the organization's internal paperwork shows that it was a $275,000 donation. So curious where the $405,000 ended up going.
It went into somebody's pocket.
And we're able to keep this story quiet for another 7 years. I mean, money definitely quiets people down quite a bit.
Yeah, it does.
So they're still digging, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't, again, we talked about this. This is a state investigation, so the feds just can't come in and clean things up. You're not going to see the old ICE guy come in, that little tiny man. He was busy overseas at a Nazi rally, which isn't surprising. But it's the people that we put in charge. Hegseth, he strikes female and black Navy officers from promotion. His list included no women. Only white men need apply. And this is something that's really setting off those within the military. I mean, if there's a merit system that these guys always brag about, it's in the military. There's no hiding your failures. You're surrounded by your battalion, so to speak. Everything's on the record, and that's how you, go up the list. That's how you get promoted. That's how you, improve your rank, etc. Putting in, only white males isn't filling that bill, and it certainly doesn't work within the military. And I think a lot of people that have they're lifetimers don't appreciate Hegseth and his funny calisthenics.
Yeah, no, he's destroying it. He's trying to turn into his own white Christian nationalist militia. Basically, he wants a white Christian army for his many crusades. This guy's a menace.
He loves war.
Okay? He loves war. Who loves war? People that haven't actually been to war.
Excellent point. You're right about that. His ban on transgender military members was ruled unconstitutional, which I think is great. He's a clown himself, and I don't think that he should, based on somebody's gender, be telling people where they can and can't serve. It just seems crazy.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. This guy's he's a piece of shit.
He's really bad at exercise. I know he keeps promoting himself. They were showing him doing karaoke. It was sad. He did bring his wife on board the ship that was in Singapore. I just don't get it. To your point, just not serious people. What are you doing? I've never seen a defense secretary in all my years anything like this. It's just kind of crazy that he conducts himself like this under one guy. It's not even a military thing. It's a Trump thing. It's all about Trump. Appeasing Trump.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing that his leaks on Signal didn't get him fired. He's still around.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. I mean, you really have to fuck up to get fired under Trump. You really do. And I guess by fuck up, that means actually doing your job in a competent manner or doing something Trump doesn't care for. And these people,
or being a woman.
To not do
he's gotten rid of 4 women in his regime, so maybe just that's enough to get you booted.
Could be, yeah. Would not be surprised. But yeah, none of these people that he's appointed have had any experience, and none of them are actually really doing their job. Kash Patel's just looking to party and drink. Hegseth apparently is just looking to travel around and have his own private makeup studio and
work out,
talk tough.
Pretty tough talker for sure. Yeah, it's dangerous though. At the end of the day, it all becomes very dangerous.
Oh yeah,
we're losing all our law and order. This was about there was a powerful piece of legislation in the Save the Bacon Act, which was humanity towards animals and animal slaughter, etc. These pigs are treated terribly. They all have personalities. They're like a dog, frankly. They're super smart. But we don't really back laws for animal wellness anymore. That was a thing that united both liberals and conservatives. You had Tia Leone, is that her name? On Fox, but you had liberals also, because I think you don't have to be a political affiliate to appreciate animals and wildlife. This was something they took out. What it does do is it takes the laws off. It allows these Chinese farms to torture the pigs any way they want to. They don't care. And I don't believe the Chinese really give 2 rats asses to it either. But it starts with pigs. And then you dig a little bit deeper and you look at the Alabama prison where they're harvesting organs of inmates.
Ah.
There was a woman whose brother was about to be released. He had a year left. She never heard anything when that year was up. She went and investigated and said, hey, what's up with my brother? They were like, oh, here's his decomposed dead body. She's like, what? They said, oh, yeah, he overdosed on fentanyl. Maybe he had fentanyl in his system because once she was given the body, she did get it examined by an outside source. He did have fentanyl in his system, but he was also beaten to death and his heart was taken out. So if you're okay with pigs being treated poorly and they're sweet animals, you would think you'd at least draw the line at humans. But I guess if you're incarcerated in Alabama, it's debatable whether you're a human or not, depending on your skin.
Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi.
It was shocking. So if you have 2 kidneys and you lose 1 to harvesting, you're doing all right. Maybe even a lung. You could probably get by with 1, maybe. But you can't live without a heart.
No, you really can't. Jesus Christ. I wonder who ended up with that heart. Who got paid for that heart?
I don't think we'll ever know, of course, but it just goes to the point that we just don't care. Another example of that, the U.S. is now spending more on data center construction than on public transportation infrastructure. Over $50 billion so far for the data centers. And that's more than we're spending on airports, marine terminals, and all mass transit combined, light rail, the super trains. Every other nation has these trains and ways of getting around and public transportation. And we just kind of look down on people that might have to use public transportation, or maybe they don't have to, but they choose to for environmental reasons, but they're losers. I mean, it's just ridiculous. How can we advance when we just keep kicking ourselves in the shins and don't want to improve or make things better for everybody?
Yeah, we're not interested in that. We're interested in making things better for the people that matter. That 1%, the billionaires, because that's who's going to profit from these data centers.
Yeah.
You think what's his name? Kevin O'Leary? Think he gives a shit that his data center is going to drain Utah dry? The guy doesn't give a fuck.
Agreed. And you're right. That's more like the 1/10 of 1%, though. Even smaller.
I know they look down on the other 9/10 as hoi polloi.
No doubt. But again, keeping on that theme, Trump cuts food benefits for 4.3 million Americans. Michigan Dems came up with a bill to make school meals permanent, make them permanently free. 0 Republicans supported the bill, not a one. Do they not have kids, or they just don't have kids in public school, or they just don't need it?
That's probably it. They don't have kids in public school, and they don't give a shit about kids in public school. And it reminds me, I had recently seen a story about a new form of schoolyard bullying, so to speak, where kids are taking pictures of other kids that are getting free lunch meals at their school and eating. These kids are taking pictures of them and posting them, or they're taking pictures and posting them of kids who don't have a very fancy lunch. Maybe you're bringing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some pretzels and an apple or something. I mean, it's just a sick society, it stems from shitty parents raising shitty kids. A lot of cruelty.
And sometimes, as you say, the cruelty is the point. So we're not going to support any of these bills that would give somebody a free meal, but Trump's busy pardoning 77 people that stole from Medicare. Now, some people think he's selling these pardons. Probably a good guess. But the bigger issue is not only are you forgiving their criminality, but you're canceling any debt, any reparations that are in order to go to the victims. They're not getting. They don't have to pay it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, how is that fair? If you've taken money out of the Medicare system, you should be forced to put that back in. That's how it should be. And now, it's just taken out of the system.
And this is only 77 people. This doesn't include Rick Scott, the giant grifter.
Oh, man, yeah.
And the total came to $1.3 billion, billion with a B, debt that he canceled that does not have to be paid back. Another example, the Todd and Julie Chrisley, and I don't know anything about their reality TV nonsense, but I do know that they were in jail for a reason. I do know that they stole funds, and I also know that Trump pardoned them. And then at the end of the day, they don't have to pay their monies back either. So that was $36 million that they stole. And maybe that doesn't sound like a lot to a billionaire, but it sounds like a lot to me. And whoever they stole the money from, I feel like, they have a right to get their munsies back, but not under Trump rules, I guess.
Yeah, Trump rules, basically Trump rules. That's the Trump rule.
Well, that stinks because he's really terrible at his job. He's not really all there in mind. So that's also an issue that we're dealing with, is letting a lunatic make these decisions. They came out and said this story about him screaming at Netanyahu and telling him, you're making everybody hate Israel and what the hell are you doing? And it kind of helps both of them. Trump, looks like a tough guy as if he's not a puppet for Netanyahu. And then Netanyahu stopped his invasion at that point, ground operation in Lebanon. They've been bombing the crap out of the southern part and then trying to go into the north. But we'll hold on that for a day.
Yeah, I don't believe a word of that story about Trump actually pushing back on Netanyahu. I think he's terrified of Netanyahu because I think Netanyahu has the goods on him. And I think it's the other way around. I think Netanyahu probably browbeated Trump and called him an idiot.
Probably. And Trump has nothing really to say about that.
He's got nothing to say.
It's just a tough thing because the Netanyahu that I see on TV doesn't even look like the other Netanyahu. And I'm not putting my tin hat on, but we talked about this months ago. Iran was fairly confident that he was erased. And the guy that we saw with the extra finger or the cup of coffee that didn't spill or whatever, now they're more emboldened because apparently we're so easily distracted or there's so much muddling in the middle that we just aren't paying attention. But I don't know who that guy is, but sure, maybe it's Netanyahu. But the point is, we're being led by another nation. They got us into this war. It's probably the biggest mistake Trump's ever made. He has no way to get out of it. Everybody knows that. And the Iranians are just settling in. They could go another 100 years. He can't. We'll be on top of each other because we'll be low on food and oil and fill in the blank. Trump will be in his bunker that we're paying for.
Maybe just, let him have his bunker and just seal it off and turn it into his crypt.
No comment. I'm not
Once
saying
you're in,
nothing.
you can't come out.
Anybody that says anything bad about Trump now, you're on the list, buddy. So good on you. But yeah, I don't know. It's this whole scenario or it's just reality. Oh, said this. Oh, this happened here. Oh, here's Trump making announcements about who cares. It's like, Dr. Oz, you're not even a doctor, and you're spewing. Like, why do I have to listen to these guys? I mean, it's just crazy. We're supporting Israel. Meanwhile, a recent poll showed that 8 in 10 Democrats or Dem-leaning individuals have an unfavorable view of Israel for many reasons. And overall, 6 out of 10 aren't favorable to Israel at all. Why? Why are we still supporting him? Does it have to do with AIPAC establishing our representatives with trips to Israel, maybe?
Yeah, maybe we can ask Wesley Bell why he's such a big fan. If you can get hold of him and get a call back. Good luck.
Yeah, Bell did a trip. They go sometimes as a group, sometimes they go individually, but it does build support and it buys influence for this country that's putting us into harm's way. And they don't care. Netanyahu finally came out and said, they're not just a power in the Middle East, they're a world power. Maybe you've been drinking some of the Trump punch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a big old world out there. All I know is that he's leading us into a direction where we're burning through our munitions. Everybody's aware of that. No greater no greater front to that is Ukraine. They're not getting our cruise missiles anymore, and they're having issue with the Russians going after Kiev and bombing the shit out of civilians and such,
Well,
because we don't have it to give because we're burning through it ourselves.
yeah, but they seem to be doing fine with their drone attacks on Moscow.
Absolutely.
So they're pushing back. They don't need us.
You're right. They're resourceful. You do have other nations like China looking to see what they're doing with these drones and how they're finding such success. It's dirt cheap how they're building them, and they're taking out $1 million munitions. So it's kind of crazy. I feel like we're teetering on what's real and what isn't. And with that distraction, you can't really settle in and sink your teeth into anything that you're pissed about because you're mad across the board. Where do you start?
Yeah. Well, it certainly seems like we're built to fight the last war and not the newest one, kind of like the Japanese building battleships before World War II when, the way to go was carriers.
Good point. And it wasn't that many months ago where Trump was talking about all these battleships. We're going to have so many ships and carriers and not smart. Now you're all confined in one area. You have all these ships, and it's like fish in a barrel for other nations. It's just not smart. But
It's not smart.
Except
We've
it's
got
not
an
a
idiot leading the
military.
military. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And they get rid of anybody that might be not white in these positions, regardless. So you're not bringing the brightest and smartest people to the table to decide how to deal with world affairs that we're just not interested in. We don't need it. We have enough oil. We don't. We do need it. You need a lot of things that come through the straits. It's not
Fertilizer.
yeah. It's not all about him making money every day. Though he did tell you the quiet part out loud, buy Dell stock. And he did. He bought anywhere between 1 million and 5 million shares of Dell stock. I can say last Friday, that stock in particular was up 100 points on Friday alone. They're just rigging the system and they're all in. And we already know the Congress is okay with it because they're like, hey, how do you expect us to live off this pittance? We need to do some insider trading.
Yeah, why shouldn't we be allowed to do insider trading? Huh. Yeah, well,
Otherwise
I guess because it's illegal.
The best and the brightest won't want to serve in government is the Mike Johnson argument that's just ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, if I'm on a plane and I happen to fly over a factory and I see that it's on fire and I text my broker and say, hey, XYZ company has a huge fire here, let's dump this stock, I'm insider trading.
yeah,
that's a problem. I have a problem with it. I could be charged for that.
well, their answer is Nancy Pelosi. And if she made a little bit of cash, I don't doubt that.
Oh, listen, they're all doing it. I'm not calling it a Republican problem. It's across the board.
But what I do want to point out is they're the ones who keep bringing her name up. And my point is that they're doing it to the 1,000th degree of what she was doing. And the most normal people would be trading. Nobody's buying $1 million of anything except for Trump.
Well, they're all emboldened by Trump, though. Well, if Trump's getting away with it, there's
Yeah.
going to be no consequences for us.
For sure. I think there will be. There's some votes going on today, so we'll see how that works out in several states, including Florida. I know that we're long on time. I did have one happy ending that I saw where the Pirates had 30 wins by June 1st for the first time since 2013. They had a little bit of a dip, then they swept the Twins. We'll see how things go starting tonight, but at least they're hanging on, giving you some possibility. Connor Griffin was on the 10-day injured list, but they seem to be getting some hitting, and the starting pitching's at least holding them together for now. 30 wins. Woo!
Yeah, we're there. All right.
You take it. Billy, do you have a happy ending for today?
Well, Myles Garrett is out of the AFC North.
That's
so
pretty
if you're a
nice.
Steeler fan, that's kind of good news. I don't know what Cleveland was thinking. They had a really good defense, and you just traded away the best defensive player in the league for – you got a good player. Sure, you got some draft picks, but that Rams number one pick next year is probably going to be a pretty low pick because that's a loaded team.
Good point.
And, all you had to do is put together maybe a competent offense with that defense again. So I don't know what they were thinking, but Not going to miss him as a Steeler fan.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to see him go, and he will wreak havoc. I mean, he's still in his prime, and he's a good player.
Oh yeah, that guy's a
Twofold.
beast.
They ran off their defensive coordinator, who was hoping to get the job, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
So the defense, I don't know how happy Garrett was with that. 2 years ago, before he got his contract, he wanted out, and they're not winning with him. So it's a great deal for him. The Rams
He got paid and he got out.
And the Rams in the last 15 years have used their number one pick 3 times. The one guy that Cleveland got back from 2 years ago. This year with Simpson, the quarterback Simpson from Alabama. And then Matthew Stafford was the number one. Or Goff. And then
Goff,
they traded.
Who they trade, yeah. Made the
they
deal for Stafford with. But yeah, I mean, they've got a system and it works. I mean, they identify the guys, they scout, they develop. I mean, Nakua was not a high pick.
Now, imagine this. You get Myles Garrett, and then I saw a guy working out at the facility in the Rams facility.
Were his initials AD?
Pitt guy, yep.
Yeah, how about that? You talk about a two-headed monster.
You get Aaron Donald back in the fold, and he looks to be in amazing shape. Maybe he's got that hunger to play. I had no problem with him walking away when he did. But if he wants to play, that could be really something for them.
Yeah, how about that? That would be really something to see. I mean, those two guys on the same line.
It'd be unbelievable. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. That could just be clickbait. But I did see him in the gym. He was definitely at the Rams facility, and he has been there. And he's a big supporter of the organization. So we'll see. Well, that's a good happy ending that he's not going to play the Steelers twice a year.
So, yeah, we'll take it.
All right. Well, with that, I will let you go. We're a little over on our time, but as always, I appreciate you making it work. Hopefully, I'll catch you later. All right. Thank you for your time today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good job, and I will talk to you later.
All right. I'll see ya.